Hey, welcome back. Sorry for the short video there. Okay, so with that clue being moved, I'm a little more excited about our opportunity to get one. We need to take out this blackmail guy. Unfortunately, Yolanda, the investor, is going to get, she gets an influence whether that blackmail guy is here or not. The only reason I'm going to take out the blackmail guy is because we have 2 out of 3 progress, so we might as well just get it done. So from that perspective, we should have taken out the investor while we had our chance, but what's done is done. So here's the part I'm in most dilemma, is I need to obviously get the clue, but I gotta go bust up Slade here because he's got 2 out of his 4 influence tokens, and by the end of this round, he's gonna have 3 out of the 4. So we're gonna have to go take him out. I don't think there's any other option. And yeah, this is definitely an avalanche effect kind of game. And I don't see myself winning it right now, which for my first game, I'm okay with. And I feel adequately challenged. So also this Gabe Fulton guy is not necessarily my favorite character. Now, with that being said, I realized I forgot to draw a card during that blitz round we just did. So I do want to show you the card that we drew last round. It was another tactic. So here, during a move step or move action, you may move 1 additional space, which I think is fantastic. We needed this a lot earlier. And then I can exhaust it to suffer 1 stress to move 3 more spaces. So really good card. So with that being said, I am going to start off with dispatch. Crap, we gotta do dispatch. So let's do that. All right, we got another crime on P29. It's takeover. Okay, so P29 is all the way over here in the corner. Man, this guy's got people everywhere. All right, so one thing I need to look up is if we're controlling multiple characters, can another character bust my guy even though he's in my crime space? I'm assuming he can, but I'm not sure. So anyways, not important for this particular game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to bust this guy. So I'm going to roll my 2 dice. I'm doing my action. I'm doing my actual action step. And there we go. I got a crit. So then I'm going to roll another one. And I got 2 successes. I only needed 1 to take him out. So he is gone. And his 2 influence tokens are bye-bye. So he's out. We move him, and for this step, I can get back in the car. Okay, so then for my card step, I am going to play my tactic, which gives me, during your move step or move action, we get to move in an extra space. And then we're going to simply move. Now, I got 2 choices. I can go try to take out this Slade right now, or I can go try to get this clue. So I think I want to math this out a little bit. So now we get to move an extra space. I do have 2 crimes in my thing, so I can go 1, 2, 3, 4 because of my ability. And then because I have a cop car, I can go 5, 6 and get here within a couple spaces of the lead. Now to actually get the lead, I think you literally just go there and pick it up. I don't think there's any actual, it's just an interact action. So then the next turn, I can get this. I can move here this turn. So the problem is Slade's gonna get his 3rd token, and then we have to go punch Slade in the mouth. That's the next step we have to do. And we have investors that are going to, this investor right here is going to get his second influence token this turn. And then next turn, he's going to get his third, which would cause Slade to get a final token. But I think we can mitigate that. I really do. So I'm going to go ahead and do our plan A here. We're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 with our move action and our move step. And then I'm going to, you know, exhaust the police car to move 2 more. Like that. And unfortunately, I wish I could move 1 more, but I can't. So that's it. So we're done with our turn. So now we go to the crime phase. So here we're going to put a stress on Mina. So she's up to 3. And then this one, we're going to put an influence on him. Oh, and I forgot to take a hunch for that. So I'm going to take that hunch. And then here I can place an influence or discard a card that I control, which that's pretty brutal, but I'm going to put the influence on for now. And now the phase that I forgot is I get to draw a card. So here's our next card. So we got another one of those. I right now have 4 of these encounter cards. Okay, so we flip this over, and the first thing that happens is the criminal turn. So Slade doesn't do anything, but this one says if an investor has 3, it does not. If Slade does not gain influence, each cop must discard a hunch or suffer a stress. So I'll discard that hunch I just got. Then it goes to Yolanda. She gets 1 for every blackmail, but there isn't a blackmail, so she still just gets 1. So she's up to 3. He did not take it yet. He doesn't take it until next turn. And then Mina, I'm gonna roll 4 dice. And we had 1 crit. I accidentally bumped it, but she's up to 4 stress. Okay, so then it comes down to our event. Each cop who controls a lead gains a hunch. Each cop who does not must either discard a hunch or suffer a stress. Come on. All right, I'm going to suffer the stress. Okay, so it's back to our turn. I'm going to refresh my cop car, and we have to draw another criminal card. And there it is. There's a blackmail. So another guy comes out. This is just relentless, folks. B20 is not very far from Slade, so we could probably manage that. Okay, so now I got to figure out, it's my turn. I literally have to move 1 space to pick this thing up. So how do I want to do that? I don't need to encounter a lead, I don't think. I'm going to go look at the lead card real quick. Nope, I just need to interact with it, which is going to be my action step. I don't even have a card to play because all 4 of my cards are encounter cards and I need to just interact with this token. So I guess I'm moving with my move step. I'm going to move 1 space. I get out. I'm going to do my action to interact with that space. So I gain this lead, which is bank records. And so I can ditch it to gain one influence from, discard one influence from each card in my crime area, which is actually a good thing. Obviously I get punished for not having leads in other ways. So I get the clue token. That's the more important thing. That is now mine to control. And we will have to draw a new card for this. But before I forget, this cryptic message is finally going away. After you gain the active lead, discard this card. So we're going to finally get to discard that card, which was a very annoying card. So now, let's draw the new lead. Let's see where it goes. This one's on B6. And remember, I need to spend a hunch at City Hall to get a clue on it, which hurts immensely because B6 is right next to where we are. So I would love to just pop up there and get that lead, which I can. Well, you can only control one lead at a time. But I got to go to City Hall, which is this guy, so I can punch him in the mouth and take care of the hunches there. But I think I need to go over and take care of Slade. Unfortunately, I'm at the card step where I can play a card. Now, I'm not able to play a card, and so it says that I can also draw a card alternatively. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to draw another card. And we got our third tactic. During each of your reckless encounters, gain an extra die. Oh, I love that one too. That's an amazing card. Okay, so we're sort of stuck. I'm able to get back in the police car, at least. I can do that. And I can exhaust the police car, actually. It says, while driving this vehicle, you may move one for each crime in your crime area. So I'm going to exhaust the police car. And you can see I have 3 crimes here. So I'm going to get to move 1, 2, 3, like that. And so that'll be the end of my turn. So now we do the crime phase. So here he's going to gain an influence, or I discard a hunch. So I have a hunch here, and I'm going to discard the hunch. Here I'm going to let him gain an influence. And this next one I'm going to let him gain an influence. Okay. So lots of influence to be had. So then I get to draw a card and got another tactic. See, now this is a second one. I already have another one of those, see? So by having the second one, I get to, if I play this, I get to do the prepared step. So when I play this card, I get to perform an action. So that's what having a second copy of it is going to allow me to do. Or I can lose the tactic just to satisfy some other, penalty. If I want to get rid of a controlled card, that's an option too. Okay, so now we go up to this guy, and she has 3, so he's going to take 1, and then there is 1 blackmailer, so she gets another, and then Mina's going to roll 4 dice. And thankfully did not get a crit, so she gets no more stress. Stress would actually hurt us quite a bit right now. And there we be. We move on to the case. So we're going to draw this event here. And we get the damn cryptic message again. So a cop without a copy of cryptic message in a crime area must put this in their crime area. If unable, each cop discards a hunch. All right, so I got this again. So just when I lost it, I got it right back. Okay, next turn, everything refreshes, and we draw another criminal card. And it's yet another crime. So J12, my crime thing is just filling up like mad. J12. These guys like to punish you. J12, like so. All right. Well, we got our work cut out for us. What else do I need to do? Nope, I get to do my actions. Okay, so I want to go punch Slade in the mouth because Slade has 3 tokens, and if I don't punch him in the mouth, he might win. If any one of these gets a 3rd token, it automatically goes to Slade. So this one, I have to discard a hunch to prevent him from getting one. This one, I have to discard one of my cards that I'm controlling. So I'm going to ditch this lead, and that lets me remove one of these from every guy I have. So I'm going to do that right now. I still get to keep the clue, but don't have the lead anymore. And I still think I need to go after Slade. So I would very much love... Ooh, I can do it, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Yes, I can. Okay, so for my move step, I'm actually going to remove 1 stress instead of moving. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to exhaust my cop car, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 crimes. So I get to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that, skip daddy. And I'm right there next to Slade. Okay, so Slade... I don't know if I can just zoom in lazily from here. Let's see. All right, so if I hold this as still as I can, you can see that he has 0 resistance against reckless, and then 1, and then 2, okay? So we're gonna go after him, and we're gonna do a reckless. So I get to play a card first. So I'm gonna do this one, which gives me 1 extra die if I'm doing a reckless encounter. So now I have all 3 of my tactics out. I'm finally fully upgraded. So I'm at Rockstar level here. And then for my Action Jackson, I'm doing this. So I'm going to encounter with 2 dice, but obviously I get to have a 3rd die. And I only need 3 successes to take this guy and book him. So let's see what I can do. So resistance gets moved by 1 or reduced by 1. Yeah, that's it. And then I get to just roll 1 extra die, which I'm doing. So what do we got here? 3 successes. Boom, boom, and boom. So I would have liked to maybe have gotten a hunch out of the deal, but so now we got to go look at his card. All right. Each time a cop would place progress on Slade, they may instead remove 1 influence from an investor. So I can remove it from Yolanda. Bust. If there is no investor in play, Slade loses an influence. Otherwise, each cop gains 2 hunches and... Oh, no! I don't get to take away his influence. This was a stupid move. But I do get to gain 2 hunches and draw a card. I mean, I'm not sure how exciting that is. I mean, I could maybe use 1 of the progress to take the thing away from Yolanda, and then I can just leave 2 progress on him and bust him later. I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I'm just gonna leave him like half busted, right? Because this progress never goes away, or at least not easily. And I'm just gonna use 1 of those progress points to take this away from her. But until I get rid of Yolanda, I can't do anything to him. Oh my gosh, this is awful. I am playing this game so wrong. I'm definitely hosed. There's no doubt about it. But that brings me to my end, so now I go to the crime phase. So I'm going to let everybody get an influence token. So 1, 1. 1 and 1, and I could have gotten rid of this, but I'm gonna just not worry about it. Okay, so moving down, and then I got this crap. So I have to either suffer a stress or I'm gonna place 1 on Mina. So I'm gonna place it on Mina. And then we get to draw a card. So we have the gut feeling one. We're going to reveal a number of cards from the case deck equal to the number of hunches. Return them in order. It's not super awesome, but it's a way to get a hunch at least. All right, I really made a mistake going after Slade. I didn't realize I should have paid more attention to that card. Okay, what's next? Criminal turn. Okay, so we go here. He's not going to get an influence from her. So then I have to either discard a hunch or suffer a stress. So I have to suffer a stress. I'm up to 6. Then we go to her, and she gets 1 because there's 1 blackmail out there. So she's going to get 1. Then we go to Mina. She's going to roll 4 dice. And nothing happens there, but she's going to lose 5 stress, and we are going to get another stress. So we're up to 7. We're close to being fired. Okay, then we go to the case. Nothing happens with the case other than these nasty events. If a clue token is on an active lead, so basically the lead's moving again. So let's hope it, well, we don't have a hunch on the spot, so this lead goes away, and this one's going to be on J7. So here's 7, and J is there. Still not too far away. All right, so there's a big part of me that I need to take out these criminals, which are all relatively close to me. So if I take them out, I can see the problem is if I take out 1 per turn, I'm getting 1 per turn almost. And by the way, if I empty the deck, we just reshuffle all those criminals I caught back into the deck, and we're going to get them again. So it's not like they just go away forever. I'm really feeling like I need to take out this investor. And I had an opportunity to do it, but I didn't. And now I'm paying the price. And yeah, everybody is up there. So if I just do a hop, skip, and a jump, I can take out some of these criminals. And if I get a hunch, I can even get another clue token going. I feel like the avalanche has got too much momentum, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. I mean, I really do. I mean, I can buy a few turns by, doing things to remove tokens from these guys, but I'm out of hunch tokens. I can't absorb stress anymore. I'm at a spot where I'm ready to call it, but I think we should let's just at least finish this out, because this is our first video series, and I am fairly certain that you're going to see me do this again. So I had a good time. This is good, and I may actually even do the same combination. I might change the cop, but I mean, the case and the criminal are very challenging, and of course I want to try to beat it before I move on to a new series. And you may see me move up to 2 characters. Anyways, back to this. Do I really go halfway across the map to take out this investor? And you know damn well, there's 2 other investors in this deck, by the way. There's 3 of them. And we've gone through this criminal deck so much, I guarantee you another one's coming. So if I look at the guys, this one has 2 tokens. I'm not going to be able to eliminate him. The other one that has 2 tokens is F14, which is within reach. So I can go after that guy. You know what? I'm gonna do it. So, let's see, what can I do? So I'm going to do my card action, which lets me encounter a target up to 5 spaces away. So I'm going to do that, and let's roll the 2 dice. This guy needs 4 progress to get busted. We got a crit, so I'm going to get to roll again. And so I got 2 successes, and this will give me a hunch. I have no hunches, so I got 2 successes on him out of the 4 that I needed. I was hoping if I could somehow have eliminated him, then I could have still done other things. But by doing a card action, I'm now allowed to get into the car. So that's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to exhaust the police car, and that goes 1, 2, 3, like that. And then for my next action, I will get out, and I'm going to do this action to attack him. So I get to roll 3 dice, and he does have 1 resistance, this guy, but I have the I reduce his resistance by 1. So, all right, look at that, 2 crits. So let's roll 2 more dice. And I got 3 successes for 5 successes. I only needed 2. I really wanted to get more hunches. That's what I wanted. But I was able to eliminate these 2 influence and book them Dano. So that way this guy is not going to be contributing anything. So he's out. And not only that, but I was able to get that 1 hunch, which I will spend. So now the next clue, which is this, I don't know, is that a cone? I have no idea what that is. So this next clue is going to go on the lead. So we now can progress that part of the game. And that means Mina's only going to be rolling 3 dice from here on out. So that was real progress. I'm very proud of that. So what have we done? We've not done the move step yet. So I'm going to use the move step to remove 1 of my stress. The one nice thing about having all these crimes in my crime area is my cop car moves around town like a whiz-bang. I could ditch the cop car, but I haven't done that yet. It's been actually quite useful to have it. So anyways, that brings us, I think, to the end of that. So we go to the crime phase. So these 2 guys, it's no big deal. I can let them both take an influence, so I'm going to do that. I know this is out of order. You're supposed to go left to right. But this guy here is the one I'm concerned about. He's either getting an influence, or I have to discard a card I control. And if I let, what's-his-name, get the 4th influence, we lose the game. So I have to discard a card I control. And unfortunately, I think I'm going to either discard one of these, which I fought so hard to get, or I'm going to lose the cruiser. Dang it. This hurts. The cruiser was letting me move around without actually spending a move action, which was then letting me heal. I don't know what the right choice is. Maybe I'm valuing these tactics too much, but these tactics are very good. You know what? I can do without the physical training one, but if I ever get a second one, it actually lets me heal 2 stress. I can't let him take the 3rd one. We lose the game if that happens. Cop car's gone. Then we get to draw a card. And so there we go. Now we have like 3 of these now. So 2 of them in our hand. So That was very, very unfortunate. So I could go for the clue, and I'm going to lose the game if I do. Every one of these guys is going to put a third token down. And by the way, this one here that requires me to discard a card is P29, which is all the way over there. You know what? I can't get rid of the cop car. I just can't. I have to get rid of the physical training like I said I was going to do. So physical training is gone. That hurts, but I'm going to do that. And you're going to see why next round. Because like I told you, I can't, this guy is causing me to lose all my cards, and I can't let him do that. So that's just too costly of a penalty. All right, so then we go to the criminal turn. And as you know, he's not going to get anything, so I have to gain a stress. So I'm up to 7 again. Then Yolanda's going to get one. And we're going to lose this game very soon here. And there's no crits, so she doesn't get anything. Then we're going to draw our event, which has never helped us. And now the lead is going to move again. This might help us, actually. So this one's going to go to E13. So E13 is, holy crap, that's right next to us. Look at that. Could you ask for it to be any luckier? That's going to cost us an action to do. Oh, man. Okay. All right. We are now on our turn, so we got to draw another dispatch. And there's the other investor. So this one's going to be on F6, and this investor uses takeover cards. So that's the importance behind that investor. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another one of these and use a black one again. And F6, of course, is on the other end of the map. Not good. And just to make sure, if no influence was moved this way, it gets one anyways. So it's just like the other one. Okay, so now it's back to us. To get that clue, I have to spend an interact. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend an interact and get this second clue. So now I have 2 clue tokens. And we got to draw another lead card. I do get this lead in my control area, which is a card I can discard to satisfy that guy's condition. And then this one's going to go on A8. So A8 is way up here. So okay, and then I'm going to use that opportunity to get in a cop car. And I don't know if this is a smart move or not. But while driving this vehicle, I can ditch the vehicle to move my figure to any location. So I'm going to ditch the cop car. It gets blown up. It's out of the game. And I'm going to go to here. And remember, diagonals count when you're standing. So I'm going to make sure I'm diagonal. That was not a move action or anything. I've only done the action step. So now I'm going to do a card to get an attack in on this guy. So I can do this one that lets me perform an action. Or, that's another thing too, is I can just keep discarding these and replacing them. Or I can just do these. This particular guy on P29 has no resistance to See, but the thing is, he has 1 resistance to the Reckless, but we reduce his resistance by 1. So yeah, I'm going to do a going all in. So I'm going to encounter him, and then I can suffer a stress to put 2 progress on him. So no matter what, I think we can get this guy. So I do get to roll 3 dice, and his 1 resistance gets reduced to 0. And there we go. I get 2 successes and then a hunch, which also helps immensely. So P29 only needs 3 successes. So I'm 1 short. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ditch political pressure here. Choose a cop and place 1 progress on every crime in his crime area. So that'll give me the 3rd one I need to wipe him out. So P29 is destroyed with his 2 influence tokens. So he's out of the game. And that would be, that guy's removed. And I actually do a progress on everybody else, which is only 2 other guys right now, but that's still better than nothing. Okay, so I did the action step, I did the card step, now I get to do a move step. So I could discard a stress, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually at the docks. So guess who's getting on a boat? So I'm going to get on the Sud Skimmer here. While this card is not controlled by a cop in South Glen Docks may commandeer this vehicle. This vehicle may only move in the water areas. I can exhaust this while driving this vehicle to move 1. So I'm going to do that right away. Well, actually, I get to move. So I'm commandeering it, which allows me to get into the vehicle. And the blue lines are a little crazy. There's 1 here, so this is 1. And then there's 1 here, so I go all the way up here for 2. There's 1 here, and 3 puts me right next to Yolanda there. Okay, so I made it all the way up to Yolanda. And I could exhaust it to move 1 more, which would put me all the way down here. I don't want to do that. I'm right here next to Yolanda. And so, as you can see, the boat really does move far. So then I'm going to go ahead and exit. And you can see I'm 2 spaces away from Yolanda. That does end my turn, though. So now I go to the crime phase, and I got to deal with this nonsense. He gets an influence, or I have to suffer a stress. So I have to suffer a stress. I'm up to 8. Mina gets a stress. He gets an influence, or I discard a hunch. So I just discarded a hunch. Okay, so that's 2 of them. That's done. And now we move to drawing a card. So here's our card. I got another one of those. This character's not that bad. I sort of like him. I think with his abilities, he's pretty cool. Once you get these in play. Anyways, back to the matter at hand. This group activates each card in the criminal play area from left to right. So off we go. I'm going to gain a stress because of him. He's going to try to get something from his investors. There's nothing to get. So I gain a stress. So I'm up to 9 stress. Okay, so then I go to Yolanda. She's going to gain an influence. And there's nothing I can do to stop her. So she's at 3. But he doesn't take it until he activates. He just activated. So she has 3. And so we got to keep going. It's not until the end of next round that he'll take that. So then Mina goes. Mina only rolls 3 dice now. And no crits. And then we go to Jack Elmore. He's going to get 1 for each. He's just going to get 1. So Jack Elmore gets 1. And that stress was over there, actually. Okay. So that's done. And now we do the event. Each cop must either discard a lead they control or place a stress on Mina. Well, Mina gets another stress. Mina's up to 2. Okay, so this is getting a little intense, folks. All right, so now we go to the dispatch phase. There's another takeover, K30. Oh, that's way over where we just were. K30 is here. Oh, no good. Okay, so K30. This guy makes you discard cards you control again, just like the last one. So I can't even like ignore him. Okay, so K30's there. Here's why I think 2 players is a little more helpful, because somebody could still be going after clues while someone else is just poking off these. I don't know. I mean, somebody could just be punching Slade in the mouth over and over again to remove influence tokens. But that would mean that we would have double the crimes happening too. So I don't know what's worse, to be quite honest. I think that they balanced this well. I do think there's got to be an advantage to having 2 over 1 if you sit down and think about it. But this is where maybe having one of those allies would help, you know, because you can just still control 1 character but have an ally. Okay, yeah, I'm already thinking of my next game. So I'm on my action phase. So first thing I'm going to do is my action step. My action step, if I play this card, lets me move to and encounter. So Yolanda here has a resistance of 2. So if I move 1, which is what this allows me to do, I can reduce her resistance by 1. So she's going to absorb 1 of my hits, but I at least get to do this. Now I only need, oh no, I need 4 successes to take her out. I can't do this. I got to win this turn. All right, well, let's try it. Here's 3. And I'm going to count that. That's 2 successes and a hunch. So that means only 1 success made it through. So I'm going to just leave it here, even though this is actually on her character, just to show we have 1 progress on her. And then I'll take the hunch. I'm up to 9 stress, by the way. So now I get to play a card, which will likely let me attack a second time. No, I'm going to do my move step and remove a stress. So I'm back down to 8. And then I'm going to go all in. So I'm going to encounter her with the aggressive one again. And if I want to, I can take a stress to put 2 progress on her. So we got to get her. And this was a decent roll. So that's 1, 2, 3 successes with a hunch. So the 3 successes minus 1 is 2 successes. So I got her up to 3, which is not enough to take her out. So I am going to have to take the 1 stress to take her out, unfortunately. And so the target is gone. That hurts. But the bigger thing is I got another hunch, which I need a lot of those. So we were able to take her out. And so I'm going to get rid of Yolanda there. And this was a must-have to stay in the game. So we got rid of her 3 influence before she was able to give it to him. And she's discarded and out. So these 2 slide up. That is all my actions. So now we go to the crime phase. So I absolutely must prevent him from helping. And so I have to suffer a stress, and that's game over. Doesn't matter what I do. If I let him take the 3rd one, then he puts a 4th one on the boss and I lose. Or I have to take a stress and I lose. Either way, I just lost. So there you have it, folks. There's a whole game of Brook City solo character. Once you understand what you need to do, we were cranking out whole turns in 5 or 6 minutes per round. I think that's amazing. I think this game is very challenging. In fact, I'm at a spot now where I'm not sure if I can easily win this game. So some of this might be if I play certain characters that are more tailored towards, this. I don't know. But with that being said, I did make some boneheaded moves, and I think in retrospect, I was punching back. I was able to get 2 out of the 5 clues, which I don't think was that great. But I also think I wasn't understanding my priorities at the beginning of the game as well as I do now. But yeah, I had a good time. And here's what's crazy. I enjoyed this more than The Lord of the Rings, and The Lord of the Rings was one I was way more excited to get. I know I need to comment on Lord of the Rings in the Lord of the Rings series, but I really need to give that one another try. I think that my first experience just was a sour one, and I haven't given up on it yet. I may have given up on recording my plays, but it was just a matter of this one arriving when it did that caused me to stop playing that one. But anyways, this one is fun. And I'm very curious how the other cases are and even how the other criminals are. So we could have done this exact same case, but then picked Gus as the criminal. And Gus behaves completely differently than this guy. I think this guy with his, I'm just going to be King Farouk and sit in my castle and let them, give me stuff. I think this is brutal. This is a very brutal system. Gus, if I understood his cards, and let me just grab him real quick and I'll show you. Oh, where's Gus? Why don't I see him? Oh, here it is. So, Gus starts the game in a car, okay? And there's this cooking the books from the criminal deck. So this is going to end up in his criminal thing, just like everything else. And then so is daily pickups. And then the Spitfire card is just his car. And then it's running side up, meaning that the vehicle's in good shape. You can actually impound his vehicle. He starts on like a certain street, and then an asset token gets put out. Now, assets are something that if he picks it up, and here's the asset tokens, by the way. It's one of these suitcases. If he were to get one of those, he gets huge bonuses. And so what this guy's doing is if he ever gets 10 influence on this card, we lose. And when driving, Gus moves through the neighborhoods. And his errands are, he's going after asset tokens and every crime that has 1 or more influence on it. And so he moves 3 towards the nearest errand. And then if Gus is not near an errand, he gains an influence in cooking the books. So he's getting influence anyways, even if we're able to prevent him from ever reaching an errand. And the cooking the books is in here somewhere. Why don't I see it? There it is. Each time Gus collects any number of influence, place that influence on this card because he has not gained it yet. If Gus is near an asset, move it to a random location, and then Gus collects 2 influence. If Gus is near a crime, he collects each influence on that crime. And so, so it goes on to cooking the books. And then there's a way that cooking the books moves over to his card. And here's daily. During their term, a cop near an asset may move it to a random location. If Gus did not collect any influence this term, each cop must either suffer a stress or discard a hunch. So Gus is a very different animal. He's moving around and he has to collect his influence himself. And so these guys that are committing the crimes, you know, he has to actually physically find them when he's doing the errands, and then things happen. And obviously the assets give him a large number of influence. Whereas these guys, as you saw, they just collect every turn and then, you know, off it goes. I think one of my biggest lessons I learned is preventing these guys from getting it is very important. But anyways, I can go ramble a bit more with this, but I'm not going to. That's the game, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will try to, at least by this weekend, find some time so I can do another one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm also going to get out the that last expansion. The rules of this game are very simple. I think we got them, right? The only rule that I'm actually unsure of is if I had two characters, can one character help the other character's crime? Like, could he have busted somebody on my crime list? That's the one thing I got to make sure. But I can tell you that this particular expansion that we didn't get out, the only thing that was intimidating me is there's these rules for changing lanes, and there's buses that move around, and so it's velocity. So it uses a rec deck and a bus miniature, and then basically you got to manage accidents that occur within the city and the effects of those accidents. So those are things that I mean, I chose not to do it because I thought, you know, who needs more impediments, especially when you're already losing the game, and that's so far been an accurate assessment. But there are components that are not in this game that come from Velocity that do change this up. And so I want to make sure I look at those a little more. The other thing that's weird is, you know, these variants. So let me just show you those real quick. I mean, we talked about the allies. So maybe we want to add a few allies, right? So maybe we pick a few and have them help us out. That's sort of like an easy button, right? So let's make the game a little bit easier for us. Because if you found that this was way too difficult, or if you think that you would never win a game that seems this tough, you can just, you know, take this guard dog and make him an ally, and then look, he has 5 stress. We would not have lost the game, folks. When we got that stress, I would have just given it to my dog. And then before the encounter, if a cop near this ally gains +1 die, and if they do, the ally does suffer a stress, and he does move 6, so you can move him around the map. But yeah, this little pup can give us an extra die when we're in battle. So there's stuff like that I think we can do to make the game a little easier if we find that it's just too hard as it is. Now the off-duty deck, here, you're gonna get one of these cards random, okay? And so then every cop gets one. And so it's a checklist, and you have to do the checklist. So the babysitter has my keys, and this is stuff you do when you're off duty. So if you're in the Noble Hill Park, you get to place a progress on this card. So as long as you went to Noble Hill Park, you get to put a progress on. And of course, the bigger challenge is where the hell is Noble Hill Park? But it's on the map somewhere, and if you go near it, you just get to put that on. So it's just another thing you have to keep track of. So then, which I need to get those boxes. And so if you're in Hoarder's Storage Company, you get another one that I was supposed to sell. If you're in Queen's Bishop Pawn, you get another one. And you have to do it in order. You can't get this one first before those. So you have to do it in this exact order. If you check them all off, then you can ditch the card, which just means it leaves the game. If all tasks are complete, you may bust 1 crime and gain 1 hunch for each influence on that crime. So that's a pretty huge bonus, but you have a big distraction. There's no penalty for failing to do this. So by having this, if I can miraculously go to those 3 places, then I automatically get a really nice boost to my game. I mean, but then the harder part is, okay, do I waste a whole turn to get sidetracked and go after this, just to get that bonus? So that's going to create a lot of, if you play Defenders of the Realm, this is the quest cards. So those things that Richard Lonnie has put in there to distract you from your real objective. Now the Syndicate here, this is brutal. These are, you include one Syndicate agent card in any game to increase the difficulty, as if we needed it. If you choose to do so, you choose one to use. And then after setting up the game, you place the chosen Syndicate agent card in the criminal play area and place all crew figures associated to the chosen Syndicate near the criminal play area. It's the Syndicate agent supply. So, for example, the Valkyries here, or the Bankers, or the Dopes. So the Bankers we've been using, right? That's the same we've been using. A cop near a banker may discard one hunch to return it to the supply. So we can eliminate the banker by spending a hunch. And then it's in the criminal area. So every time the criminal area activates, place one banker in a random location. If unable, the cops lose. So that's crazy. So this is a very annoying thing. They each, here a cop near a Valkyrie may suffer a stress to return it to the supply. And there you have to discard a card to return it to the supply. Discarding a card is different than a card you control. That's just a card out of your hand. That actually, towards near the part of the game where I was just at when the game ended, I had no problem discarding some of my cards. But anyways, that's the Syndicate. So it makes the game harder. We're not going to be seeing that anytime soon because I have yet to demonstrate to you that this game is easy to play. Next one is the Delta Keys Smuggling. Okay, so this is the Delta Keys expansion, which we avoided because there's another board you can move to. As if, this wasn't big enough of a board to move around in. But so basically, a smuggling card advances off Valis. You put contraband, they look like little crates, contraband tokens from that card onto the South Glen docks. And then reveal that card. If the number of contraband tokens in the South Glen docks equals or exceeds the revealed card's quota value, resolve the quota effect and discard the contraband. Once during their turn, a cop in South Glen docks may roll a die, adding one for each hunch they have. For each success rolled, discard a contraband from that location. If the cop controls a lead, each crit discards contraband and it explodes. So then a contraband on each card in the smuggling line, then advance. So basically, these cards get drawn, and if there's ever, like for example, if there was 5 of these in the docks, then a cop has to draw a criminal card. If you bust it, then you can discard up to 4 from either the South Glen docks or any number of smuggling cards. So that's the thing, is these cards start accumulating, and then of course some of these only have 1 on them, and that would cause you to suffer a stress. So it's so after setting up the criminal deck, place the card in the criminal play area, set up Delta Keys board, and shuffle the remaining smuggling cards to create the smuggling deck and place it near the Delta Keys board. Below the smuggling line, then flip this card, and that's when you do this. So activate. Place 1 contraband on each card in the smuggling line, then advance the smuggling line. So that's the problem. It says each time a smuggling card advances off Valis. So the smuggling line, I believe, is on this new board. So that's what these keys are all about. So let me move some of these cards out of the way. So see the line here? This is where the smuggling cards move along, and then you can see that's Valis right there. So when it advances off of Valis, then that's when things trigger, right? So the smuggling cards move, and as long as a cop's here, they can be busting, and removing those. So I think, my honest opinion, if you're playing a solo game, some of this stuff is just suicide. Like, how can you win a solo game and at the same time be dealing with that? You can't. You just absolutely can't. But if you're playing a 4-player game, that might be doable because one player could be responsible for keeping the docks clean. Another player could be responsible for busting the main guy, punching him in the mouth, or going after the clues, right? Because only one player needs the clues, not all of them. And then the other players can be going after criminals. I think that's where, so some of these expansions really aren't conducive to solo play. So obviously we haven't played this expansion yet, but if you're considering getting this game and you're only going to play it for solitaire, I would say that Delta Keys portion, I'm not saying the rest of Delta Keys stinks, but that portion does. I don't think that that's a viable alternative for a solitaire game, unless you're planning on controlling 4 characters. And if you're willing to do that, then I think it brings it back into the table. But if you're planning on playing and controlling just one character, I don't think that smuggling thing is going to work for you. And I think that brings us to the end. These are all just card dividers. And if I go through them, yeah, these are just the dividers. So that covers everything that we did not include in the game. So I think the biggest one is just the new velocity rules. And I'll try to incorporate that into our next game. I think this combination of bad guy and ransom is not very helpful. I think this is a difficult combination. Let me just put it that way. But there's a part of me that wants to beat it. So let's see what we can do. I was told that Mara Banks here gets vehicle bonuses. So obviously her action is she gets to roll 2, and if she's driving, she gains 1. So apparently you can encounter somebody from the car. And I didn't realize that because remember I kept getting out of the car. So I guess you can encounter somebody from the car. So that's something we need to add to our game. I know for a fact that the rule said that the cars have specific adjacency, like there is no diagonal and stuff like that. But she's proof that we can encounter from the car. So there's a lot of move and encounter, and she's doing that from the car. So I guess that makes a lot of sense. While driving, you may move 1 additional street during your move step or move action. So she has a lot of like driving abilities. Here's another one. While driving, you may encounter targets that are 3 spaces away. Okay, that might actually be quite useful. And 3 spaces, by the way, is not 3 driving spaces. It's 3 walking spaces. But that's still extremely useful. Each time you come into your vehicle, you may discard 1 stress and gain 1 hunch. So you just, when you switch vehicles, you just gain stuff. That's awesome too. Okay, so that's her, right? So, she can be like the vehicle goddess. And I'm sure, like, we didn't run into any mechanics that allowed us to draw new vehicles. I'm betting she probably has some cards that let her do that. So, for example, you can get, this Bradville. And it says during each of your cautious encounters while driving this vehicle, you get to gain a die. And then exhaust it while driving this vehicle to move 1. I mean, so there's a lot of vehicles here that have other bonuses that you can get. And like I also said, there's a lot of cops in this game. So if you didn't like this particular style of play, I mean, he's all about the aggressive, right? Go in reckless, and I mean, that's Lethal Weapon to the core, right? But maybe that's not the right style for this type. You can get in a little bit of a LCG kind of mode where you have to pick the deck that fits the crime. Anyways, there, you saw that Mara had a completely different play style. She does everything from her car, right? So anyways, thanks for watching. Stay awesome.